So, can we have your name, sir?
John Uffindell.
John Uffindell. How old are you, John?
I'll be 57 soon.
57.
Yeah.
First surfboard?
First surfboard, I had a longboard.
Yep.
And I learnt to stand up on that out on the Nungaroo sand spit with some friends of mine.
Yep.
Do you want me to diverge?
Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
I went to see a film, and I can't remember the name of it. It could have been the Fantastic Plastic Machine.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And of course there was a segment of George Greenough in that, and that really captured my imagination. Because he was like all over the wave, and these other guys were just trimming and cruising.
Yeah.
I thought, geez, that looks pretty groovy. So I got one of my friends who was kind of handy at cutting down surfboards, and we gave it a go and turned it into a kneeboard, which completely screwed it up, of course.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
yeah. So from that thing that didn't really work that great, I first got a Greg Weaver.
Yeah, so how did you get hold of that? Would it have been in a shop or would you?
No, it wasn't. I got it off a guy I knew at school. It was his brother's.
Yeah.
And as it worked out, it went like a dog.
Yeah, yeah.
Because it was too short, there wasn't enough flotation in it. But anyway, I guess I progressed from there to Graham Allen's surfboards from
So
there.
you started on a longboard, then it wasn't very long after that you went straight to a kneeboard.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So whereabouts did you start it at Nungaroo? You swim across?
Over on the sand
So
spit.
how'd you get over there? Did you swim over or go over in a boat?
My friend had a batch, well his parents had a batch at Wellington's Bay.
Yeah.
So we'd sort of,
jump across
yeah,
there.
just paddle across. And
So what year were you roughly talking about?
it would have been early 70s, I'm thinking, probably
Yeah.
70, 71-ish.
Yep.
Yeah.
So did you surf the Nungaroo, the bar at Nungaroo then, or not?
Yeah,
really?
yeah, we did. It was kind of like on small
Yeah.
onshore sort of guess days. It would have been 2 foot, 3 foot, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's brilliant.
And we'd go down the beach and have a look-see. And
Because I grew up at Nungaroo, my parents had the store there, and we used to go surfing all down by Muscle Rock, we call it, down the far end.
yeah, we went down there.
Even round past there, it was a bit rough. Sometimes you get a nice little wave and right in the corner there.
Yeah.
It's a good place.
Yeah.
Yeah, wetsuit in those early days, what did you surf in?
Initially, we were in boardies, of course.
Yeah.
I guess it wasn't too long after that I bought a vest.
Yeah.
Moana Nui vest, I think I can
Yeah.
recall. And then from there, I mean, I guess as you sort of thought about surfing into winter, you had to get something else. So
Something decent.
I got a long john to go with it, so I'd wear the long john and pull the vest over the top, sort of thing.
So you were pretty warm.
Yeah.
Good one. Oh, it's yeah. So best kneeboard that you've had. Have you got one that you've probably sold, or is it the current one, or have you had one you've sold and regretted selling?
There's been one that I probably regretted selling.
Yeah. What was that?
It was a neon board made by a guy called Wayne Hutch,
Yeah.
who lives on the Central Coast. And it's possible I would still be getting his boards if he didn't pull out at one stage. He was getting overuse issues, I think, with his shoulder and his neck.
Yeah.
But I have heard just over the last year that he's started shaping again, so I'm guessing maybe he's using machines and
Yeah.
do the donkey work.
Because a kneeboard, you just can't, you don't see them on the shelves. You probably, most of them have had to order them what you want, or you don't see them in a surf shop really,
No.
or very rarely, do you, when you think about it?
No, that's right, and I think that's one of the problems with the popularity of kneeboarding is that a young guy can't go into a surf shop and see one and think,
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind getting that and having a go on it,
But guys that have seen you on your kneeboard when you're ripping it at the beaches you go to, man, they must get, some of them must want to have a go at it. Do guys come up and ask you to have a go, or not really?
Well, not really. I
Yeah.
think sometimes the young guys these days sort of see me out there and they think, what the hell is that guy doing? You know what I mean?
Because they've been kneeboarding for years and years, probably just as long as they've been surfing, haven't you? I can remember guys at Rincon and in the States kneeboarding in those early movies, you know. So
Yeah.
it's
Well,
been
there's definitely pockets of kneeboarding around the world, and still are, I think.
yeah,
We could talk about the decline of kneeboarding if you want to go down that track, but you know, I've got my own theories on
Yeah.
that. You know, so
you would have noticed that there's a lot more longboarders around than what there used to
For
be,
sure.
probably because they're so easy to ride. And
yeah.
best ride. You had one of those days when it's been just perfect and you've just slain it, or you must have a standout best ride anywhere.
I can remember some barrels
Yeah.
for sure.
Whereabouts were they?
Partau Bar.
Partau Bar. Yeah.
And you know, when you're talking about length of rides, I guess I'm thinking about Peaks,
Yeah.
those sort of places, you know,
Yeah.
where you surf right into the bay when
Yeah.
the swell's up a bit.
Yeah. So you go up to Shippies a bit even now, or was that more?
Haven't been up for a while,
Yeah.
and I guess it's just a matter of my work hours sort of hampering me a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm really lucky, fortunate that I can surf during the week, but a lot of my work shifts start mid-afternoon, and really going to Shippies, you need a day.
Yeah.
Don't
That's a
get
long
going.
way to go to nowadays too, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's most best part of a day gone to get
Yeah.
there and back. Yeah.
That's right, so
So you've had some long rides at Shippies because you just get hook in there and go for miles, wouldn't you?
yeah.
Yeah, brilliant. Did you have any surf heroes, kneeboard heroes that you looked like the guy you mentioned earlier? But did any local guys sort of you think, oh man, he's cool, or you wanted to be like?
I
or-
can think of a guy that used to live at Raglan. I don't know where he is now, but his name was Murray Trower, and he won the New Zealand champs several times, I think. I won it once,
Yeah,
and he was in several contests that I was in, but I can remember seeing him surfing at Raglan,
yeah,
and he wasn't a big guy,
yeah,
but he used to surf these narrow little boards that were not typically like you would imagine a kneeboard to be. They were kind of like a scaled down surfboard, I guess.
yeah,
Probably about 20 inches wide, something like that. And he would just rip at Raglan. Being a powerful wave, he would just surf top to bottom and get so vertical and smash
Yeah.
it off the top. And
Yeah.
whereas the boards that certainly that I used to ride then were really quite slabby, and they were found wanting at places like that where there was more power on the waves. You know, it was, yeah.
So he'd be zipping around a lot more than what you could on a
Yeah, I
wider
mean,
board. you
he
think?
had a real vertical attack, I guess you could say. That
So where did you win your kneeboard New Zealand champ? Where was that?
Gisborne 79.
Yeah. So was that part of the New Zealand like surfboard circuit, or was it a separate thing for Northern
No, it
kneeboard?
was the New Zealand Surfing Champs.
Yeah, yeah. And you went all the way down there?
Yep.
How many, do you have to have a few heats to get through, or?
Couple of heats.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So how many guys would you been competing against? Roughly?
12 to 15.
Yeah,
maybe.
that's quite a lot, isn't it? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Because as you can imagine, it was quite popular in those days as
Yeah.
compared to
Yeah.
now.
yeah.
Although I have to say, we get quite a good turnout at our kneeboard contests in Opanaki.
Yeah.
You know, we would have 15 to 20 competitors.
So is that a yearly thing that you go down
Often
to?
a yearly thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So have you got it? Have they got a club, or what have they got, or just the internet thing that you hook into?
Yeah, I guess you could call it a club, the New Zealand Kneeboard Surfing Association.
Yeah. So it's offshoot of the Surf Association.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. I didn't realise that.
Mm.
So, what was your first car?
First car was an EH Holden.
EH Holden. That
Yeah.
would have been a pretty flash car to go to the beach in, wouldn't it?
I think.
Would it have that rust problems like a lot of those
Yeah,
early ones?
it did.
Yeah.
It had rust problems. That was kind of okay when I got it. Would have been probably, I don't know, 8, 9, 10 years old, I guess, when I got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because some of the, I was talking to a guy the other day and said, we don't realise how rough the roads were in those days. To go into Sandy Bay, some of the corrugations you had to slow down to a couple of k's to get up some of the hills or part out. There was some shockers, wasn't it? Really.
I can remember going to Sandy Bain at once, and they'd actually closed the road because there'd been a cyclone come through and there'd been so much rain that was obviously before they sealed the road. It was just a quagmire, and the car was slipping and sliding all over the place.
You better yeah.
We got there, you know, but I'm not quite sure why we got there, because I think from memory the surf was probably quite average.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah.
Good fun. Who did you surf with? Who did you go to the beach with? Any guys that you hung out and went mostly with?
Probably, I think, initially I hung out with two brothers that lived at Nungaru, John and Pete Turner, who I haven't seen for a long time and they don't surf now.
Yeah. So were they kneeboarders?
No, they weren't. They weren't.
They're surfies, yeah.
And I hung out with other guys like Ian O'Donnell and the Night Boys, John and Paul, who are my age.
Yeah.
And some of my brother's friends, he's just a year or two younger than me, and he was a really good surfer, and some of his friends we used to hang out.
So you're talking about your brother. Did your brother surf or brothers surf?
Yeah, my brother surfed. He surfed a lot. He was a good surfer.
Yeah, what was his name?
Mark.
Yeah. I don't know if I've actually met him. Any shark sightings while you've been out surfing? Had any?
Not a lot of shark sightings. I can remember one day when we were surfing at Waipapa Carry Ramp up on 90 Mile Beach. It was probably about 3 to 4 foot. It was a beautiful sunny day, and there were about 4 of us out the back there, and we were stoned out of our minds. And we got the idea that there was a bunch of people up on the beach waving.
Yeah.
And eventually we figured out that they were actually waving to us to come in.
Were you waving back for a while?
So we all came in, and sure enough there was a big shark just cruising out beyond the surf line. In fact, one of my mates had seen it, and he said he thought it was just a log floating in the water.
Yeah, so it was that biggie, yeah.
Yeah, it was a biggie.
Yeah. So you travelled overseas, done any surfing overseas?
California.
Yeah.
Surfed a little bit there, mostly around Santa Cruz.
Yeah. Any famous breaks there that you surfed?
Surfed at Steamer Lane. It
Yeah.
was a bit soft that day, I have to say.
Crowded?
No, it wasn't crowded.
Yeah.
It was late in the afternoon going on evening, so I think everybody had buggered off.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a few good beach breaks around there.
Yeah. You would have been quite rapt to surf Steamer Lane, because I remember some of those surf movies.
Yeah.
All you'd see was Steamer Lane and
Yeah,
guys.
it wasn't real big or anything.
Yeah.
I guess it might have been 5 foot or something like that.
Yeah. Did you have some kneeboarders out with you then, or was it just?
No, there weren't any there that day.
So Aussie? Been to
Yeah,
Aussie?
been to Aussie and surfed there a bit.
Yeah.
Been over to several contests, kneeboard contests there.
How did you do? Did you enter those?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. Do alright?
I went well in the Wollongong Pro in '99.
Yeah.
I came second in the Masters division.
Oh, yeah. That's
I've
pretty
been
good
to
effort.
2 world champs there as well, one on the Sunshine Coast and one in Wollongong.
Yeah.
And I didn't place in either of those, but as you can imagine, the competition was pretty hot.
But it would just such a buzz to go to those contests and watch
Yeah.
guys that are really ripping and think, man,
Yeah, it's really inspiring going
Yeah.
and watching good surfers. So.
why can't I do that? And you do try and do it, don't you?
Yeah.
Even as you get older. Had a favourite surf trip around New Zealand? Somewhere where you've taken off and just you found some neat waves, or?
One of our first trips with a couple of my mates was down to Gisborne, probably in the mid-70s I can recall. And that was, we weren't good surfers, but it was just interesting to go and check out some different places,
Yeah.
Gisborne and Mahia, and see all the places you'd heard about.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, it is great to do
Yeah.
Mahia Peninsula. There can
Yeah.
be some brilliant waves, yeah. So, you got a favourite break that you go to most of the time? I know you surf Ocean Beach or Party a lot, but
yeah.
where would you consider your home break? Or you don't have one?
I guess I'd consider Sandy Bay, Ocean Beach, Partau,
Yeah.
all breaks that I like to go and surf at, and it just depends on the tide and the conditions. And
You've been to any of those weirdo places that not many people would surf, or have you been somewhere strange and found surf? You surfed right up Cape Reinga way, you've been around that way?
I
or?
haven't been up to the Cape
Yeah,
to go surfing.
yeah.
Yeah, I'd have to think on that one a little bit.
What about Hora Hora Bar? You must have been there a few times.
Been to Hora Hora Bar, haven't been there over recent years.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit anxious about just leaving my car parked
Yeah,
there.
every time I've done that. It's a
Yeah.
beautiful little break when that's cranky,
Yeah.
but it's just a bit dodgy going down
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
We used to go into Hora Hora quite a bit, but
Yeah.
when they closed the farm off,
Yeah.
less and less.
Why do you think you enjoy surfing so much? I've asked several people this, and I don't know why we go surfing and we enjoy it so much, but I don't know, it's a spiritual sort of a thing, and you just get such a kick out of it. Have you got any reason why you think you enjoy it so much?
I guess initially, and I guess this goes for surfers of all persuasions, whether you're surfing on your guts or standing up or kneeling or whatever, it's that sensation of glide that captures you,
Yeah,
and from there on it's history, isn't it?
yeah,
Why do we go surfing? I think it's one way that we can live in the moment, and it takes people outside of their ordinary everyday lives, and when you're out there you're not thinking about anything else.
yeah. I've had businesses, and man, you can go surfing and all your worries are gone, and they really are when you're out there
Yeah.
surfing, and that's probably why we enjoy it. If you've got worries, I know, it's just such an enjoyable thing when you get a good ride.
It is, and I mean, I think other people try and find other ways to get into the moment, or in the flow, as I call it. Some people practice meditation, some people might get it through prayer. I don't know, I get it through going surfing, and it's just a relaxing experience where I can actually live
Yeah.
in the moment.
So what kneeboard are you riding at the moment? What make?
I've got 3 David Parks boards.
Yeah,
David lives in Shapes in Byron Bay. I've had several good boards off him,
yeah,
and I've also just recently got a board from Roger Hall that is interesting. I'm still getting my head around that and
yeah,
trying some different fin setups on it.
yeah. So you can alter how it feels a lot by changing the fins around.
For sure.
Yeah,
Yeah, I experiment a lot with fins because I think it changes the performance characteristics of a board quite a lot, and I like that ability to be able to change the fin setups for different wave sizes, but also just for a different feeling. I'll swap from a 3 fin to a quad when I want a looser feel for a change. It's
yeah.
just a personal thing.
And the conditions, like you can go to Partau Ocean Beach and you get quite a grunty wave, and next day you go to Sandy Bay and it'll be a soft wave, so you probably change around a little bit for the
Yeah, you can
conditions like
change around for conditions, or I change my boards around. I've got several boards that I surf in different conditions, and I think it's kind of good having a quiver.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So any funny stories out there that you've seen on your way, or something stupid that you think that you can remember? That I know we've all had probably hairy car rides to the beach and things but anything that...
Yeah, I'm just trying to think. We used to have some fun times when we stayed at Partau. Richard Langdon's parents had a batch at Frogtown. It's not there any longer.
Right on the beach too, wasn't it?
Right on the beach,
Yeah.
and we'd go out there and play up. My brother and Richard and Dave Berry and Ross Wells, they're a year or 2 younger than myself, and we're all sort of in our mid to late teens, and I'd have to go in at the Para Bay pub to buy the beer because I looked the oldest.
You're the oldest looking,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I'd have to be honest and say that we were starting to experiment with drugs and hallucinogens and all that sort of thing back then. And yeah, it was a good place to do it because we were out of harm's way, and nothing bad was going to happen to us.
Yeah. That beach at where Langdon's back,
Frogtown.
Frogtown. Did you ever get those those left-handers coming off those rocks and some big sort like odd surf part out and it'd be useless. You go around to there and I've caught some neat big waves coming off those rocks to the left. Have you ever caught some of those?
Occasionally we'd catch those waves,
Yeah.
but most of the time that was pretty hard work surfing there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get a lot of closeouts and the odd shoulder.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I can remember, there was a batch several doors down with a big outside, I guess, water tank that wasn't attached to the batch.
Yeah.
So one night we went down there, the people weren't there of course, and we lit a big bonfire right up against the side of the tank and we all hopped in it.
So you had a
Had
spa.
Yeah.
My wife's family were Shores and they had a lot of those batches.
Right.
I think they called it Shoresvilles for a while, but they were, I think their leases or whatever ran out, so they were all pulled down. But there was quite a lot of batches there in the early days. Yeah, I've got some photos. Great spot, eh?
Yeah.
What sort of music did you listen to when you were off to the beach?
Oh, we used to listen to a lot of Lou Reed.
Yep.
Richard Langdon, he had a, I think it was Ziggy Stardust, David Bowie,
Yep.
Rolling Stones.
Yeah. All the classic hit stuff at the time,
Yeah.
wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Good interest. Yeah. That's good. I think that's just about, we've just about covered everything there. Yeah, if anyone hasn't seen this guy out kneeboarding, he really, really rips. So, and you probably get a few brassed off with a few longboarders out there. That you get a few drop-ins now and again.
Not too many actually, Laurie. I sort of go by the code of karma really, you know.
Yeah.
I try and sort of let everybody have their waves and hopefully they'll let me have mine, you know. So
But you
seems
said-
to work okay for me.
You did get your share, I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent. All right, thank you very, very much. I hope that wasn't too painful.
No, well, that's
Yeah.
right.
Yep. Thank you.
Thanks for giving me the opportunity.
Yeah.